It looks like I am live. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate all of you. So today, my name is Tammy, and I am reading from Dr. Joseph Murphy's book, Psychic Perception. And I started reading this book, I think about 2 weeks ago now. We've been reading it. And the last time I was reading it, I had to stop in the middle of the chapter because I just felt so bad all of a sudden. It's like a wave of something swept over me, and I just felt this extreme exhaustion. So I had to stop, and that's a lesson for me as well as for all of you. If you are doing something and you're in the middle and you start, experiencing some type of thing like that, then it's best for you to just stop. Stop. It's okay. It's okay. People will understand, or if they don't understand, they're not your people. So that was an important message for me from my body because I don't know, to be honest with you, I think it may be all these retrogrades that are happening now, um, the energy, the new moon energy, it could be any of that stuff. But it was like just an extreme exhaustion, and it came on me for like a few hours. And then after the few hours, it seemed to be over. So I didn't know actually. Uh, just kind of cut my supplements down to like very basic minimum, like my vitamin D always I take because especially because I live in the Pacific Northwest and there's lack of sun here. So I make sure that I take my vitamin D anyway. And especially because vitamin D helps you with, pain and inflammation and all of that. Vitamin D and magnesium are two minerals and vitamins that will help you in that area. So those are ones that I try to take regularly. And then I have one that I take for my stomach that's amazing that I take. And so I just like limited them down to just those things and like the probiotic, which I try to take every day, you know, and just a few things just to see, make sure that something I was taking wasn't affecting me in that way because I don't know. It was like I felt so bad, and then when I looked at myself, I was like, man, I had dark circles under my eyes, worse than normal. So I was like, this is not right. So I had to shut that down. So today I've come back on to finish. And for those of you that did not get to attend my master class, it actually is going to just be something that is going to be for sale since I've already done it. So if that is something that is a healing activation, it was fire, amazing. Um, yeah, it was amazing. And so I know that when you listen to it, you will walk away with healing and activation. You will feel empowered. Um, I'm excited about it. And so I want to do more of those. I plan to do more of those, especially in my group. So if you are female and you are looking for that type of healing activation, magic, empowerment, um, and evolution. So if that's something that you're looking for, join me in my group, Heal Her. I will actually drop the link in the comments once I'm done for that group because it's fire and y'all it's building right now. So it's small, but it's building. It's going someplace. And I expect to be able to come in and actually do some healings at least once in the week, and we'll have some other teachings and trainings as well in there. So, and then I want to have a day that I come in and do card readings. So that is another thing that I'm planning for this group. So if that is something that you're looking for, join me there. I also have a membership that I'm creating, and I'm looking for founding members, and that is going to be like super reasonable too. So if you are looking to, get in my energy, because I know that I have energy that heals. I know that, and I am so excited about it, and I no problem sharing it. And so I'm creating a membership for that particular purpose as well. Founding members. It's going to be a super reasonable price. I'm just excited about it, and I'm looking for people to join me. So if that's something that you're looking for, either comment below or wherever you're watching the video, or reach out to me. send me a message. Or if you're on YouTube, just comment below a video and tag me. So again, thank you so much for that. So without further ado, I'm going to get started on psychic perceptions by Dr. Joseph Murphy. So the technique and formula he used to banish his frightful nightmares. At my suggestion, he decided to lie flat on his back prior to sleep and visualize his former girlfriend and her husband as radiant, happy, joyous, and free. He consciously projected love, harmony, peace, and goodwill to both of them, saying out loud, "These godlike vibrations go forth from me now and are resurrected subjectively in the hearts of both of them." I like that. I like that, y'all. I like that. I'm gonna take a picture of that because I think that that will be helpful, especially with people that are needing to release people and are needed to let people go and are not needed to spread love and harmony and peace and goodwill. So that is something that, I think it's going to be helpful for many people because a lot of times we don't realize that unforgiveness and bitterness and all of that stuff, those things they invite cancer into your life and into your body. So if you are holding on to all of those things, those low vibrations, any kind of thing can happen. Autoimmune diseases are invited by a lot of those limited beliefs and those negative vibes. So these godlike vibrations go forth from me now and are resurrected and subjectively in the hearts of both of them. There is no time or space in the subconscious mind, and I know that what I really feel and am broadcasting now is lodged deeply in the hearts of my former girlfriend and her husband. I sleep in peace, and God gives me joy and happiness, and God's love fills my soul. And that is like the most amazing thing to me is God's love. God's love. And so if God's love fills your soul, then you have to love and you have to love everybody, including yourself. And that is another thing. You need to have self-love. You got to love you. He practiced this technique for about 10 minutes, and that night he slept peacefully and has had no trouble since then. His subconscious was controlled by his conscious mind. Feeding his subconscious with life giving patterns, he wiped out the negative patterns. Love casts out fear. Don't ignore your dreams. Everyone dreams, though many people, usually the happy, joyous, and free, are unaware that they do dream. Many wish to ignore their dreams because their dreams are actually revealing subconscious states of mind, which they don't want to be reminded of. Therefore, they tend to suppress their hostilities and resentments. In sleep, the subconscious takes over and dramatizes its contents and protests to the conscious sleeping mind that it should stop polluting its subconscious with negative and destructive mental poisons. It is also true that while we sleep, our dreams help us considerably in eradicating excess tension and anxiety. This happens whether we recall the fact we were dreaming or not. The subconscious is all wise and it works off our pent up emotions during sleep. Nightmares and insomnia are amenable to control by the illumined conscious mind. Fill your conscious mind with the truths of God and reiterate these truths prior to sleep. Since your subconscious mind is subject to the conscious mind, you will sleep in peace and wake in joy. How Ann's extrasensory powers harmonize the situation with her associate. A young supervisor, we shall call her Ann, was working in an office employing 20 girls. One of the girls, whom we shall call Lucy, was extremely hostile to her and in many subtle ways placed difficulties in her path. Furthermore, Lucy accused Anne of discriminating against her, pointing out that she was entitled to promotions and that her talents were not appreciated nor given recognition. Anne did not want to recommend her dismissal as Lucy, though very difficult to handle, was capable in her work. Moreover, Anne didn't want her to begin to complain to the management that she was being discriminated against when in reality she was not. How Anne overcame the hurdle. At my suggestion, one morning, Anne sat down in her office, quieted her mind and read the 91st Psalm. While affirming deeply and lovingly, I am filled with the free-flowing love of God. My whole being is saturated with divine love. I fully and freely forgive Lucy. The spirit in me talks to the spirit in Lucy, and there are harmony, love, and understanding between us. Whenever I see Lucy or whenever she speaks to me, I surround her with a circle of light and love and practice this technique during the day for about 4 days. And at the end of this time, Lucy apologized to her for the way she was acting and promised complete cooperation in the future. Anne's benediction and prayers had already engulfed the soul of Lucy, and they became great friends. What Anne projected or broadcast came back to her. As you send out love and goodwill, so will it return to you. Action and reaction are equal. How a young lady used extrasensory perception to find her long lost father. A few weeks ago, I visited Uli Maui village in Hawaii. Here, the villagers stage likely demonstrations of poi pounding, old time hulas, lei making, quilt weaving, and other traditional rites, concepts, and arts. This village offers intriguing displays of ancient dapas, Hawaiian and Pacific artifacts. It is said you haven't seen Hawaii until you've seen Uli Maui. I had a superb Hawaiian luncheon served with exotic South Seas concoctions. Chatting with a young lady at the next table, I told her I was writing a book entitled Let Psychic Perceptions Work for You and was looking for some material in Hawaii, the island of mystery, and from the Kahuna native priest. She said, "You can use my story. It is very vivid and real." The following is the gist of her experience. Her father had deserted her mother when my luncheon companion was 2 years old. It seems they had quarreled a lot. The father had given the mother 25,000 for the care and education of the child. When the child had grown up and graduated from the University of Hawaii, where she majored in psychology, she decided to use the powers of her mind to locate her father, whom she had an intense desire to meet and to know. How her awareness of her astral body helped her. She said, "I know I possess a fourth dimensional subtle body, which some call the astral body, as I have found myself out of my body frequently and on foreign shores." She pointed out that her astral body fitted exactly the contours of her physical body. One night prior to sleep, she instructed her subconscious mind in the following manner: "You know where my father is. I know you can make me appear before him in person, whether he is asleep or awake, wherever he is. Your guiding intelligence will now find him as you are my inner radar. There is a love bond between Father and myself. He hungers to meet me, and I hunger to meet him. This is my command to you. And now I go to sleep in peace." These words are the essence of the instruction she communicated to her subconscious mind. Immediately after going to sleep, I found myself in a hotel room in Sydney, Australia. She said, "I had a body exactly the same as the one lying in bed in Honolulu, and there I saw my father putting on his coat, getting ready to go to work. He seemed startled and frightened, and I said to him, 'Dad, I'm Lisa, not her real name, your daughter. I love you. Come back to us.' He seemed speechless and dumbfounded, and all I remember is that he said, 'I will.' Then I found myself back in my three-dimensional body on the bed in my home in Honolulu." The interesting sequel to her astral travel. Lisa had a perfect memory of what had happened while she was asleep. When she awakened in the morning, she told her mother where her father was staying in Sydney. She wrote to him there and told him about her astral visit, and she received a reply by airmail saying he had experienced an apparition of a beautiful young lady who appeared to him in his bedroom saying she was his daughter, and he said that he was coming back to Honolulu. They had a joyous reunion, and her mother welcomed her long lost husband with open arms. How she functioned outside her body. Prior to sleep, Lisa decreed to her subconscious that the guiding principle in her subconscious mind would lead her to her father, and it projected her personality, which was immediately presented to her father in her astral body. This happened almost instantaneously. In as much as she was asleep by the clock for less than 5 minutes, she had full use of her faculties. She was consciously aware of the hotel, its address, the furniture in the room where her father was, and she was able to communicate to him and move ponderable objects. Also, she had visual, auditory, and tactile capacities. In other words, she proved to herself that she was not just a body, but a mental and psychic being capable of living, acting, and traveling independent of her physical organism. You will have bodies to infinity. Actually, you will never be without a body as you are on an endless journey which knows no end. Extrasensory perception and the man from Calcutta who saved his daughter's life. In Honolulu, where I'm writing this chapter, I had a most interesting conversation with an old friend whom I had known previously in India. I shall call him Harry. He has been practicing traveling clairvoyance or astral excursions for many years. His daughter is studying in Honolulu and had been very ill. Actually at the point of death. A cable was sent to him in Calcutta, and the moment he received it, he adopted a yoga posture, closing his eyes and got into a passive, quiet, receptive state of mind. He visualized his fourth dimensional or astral body emerging through his head with all his faculties, and he decreed firmly, knowingly, and with deep conviction, I want to appear instantly to my daughter and minister to her. He repeated this command about 6 times, then dropped off into a profound slumber. Immediately he found himself at his daughter's bedside. She was asleep, but awakened immediately and exclaimed to him, Dad, why didn't you tell me you were coming? Help me. He placed his hands upon her and chanted several religious phrases and told her, You will arise in a few hours and be well. She had an instantaneous healing. Her fever immediately subsided, and she shouted to the nurse, I am healed. I am well. My father was here and he healed me. The nurse thought she was raving, but the resident physician confirmed the silent inner knowing of her soul that she was indeed perfectly well. However, both laughed at her story of a visitation by her father from India. The nurse heard nobody in the room. The nurse was puzzled and perplexed and said to the daughter, How could your father or anybody else get in from downstairs through the closed doors? I saw no one enter your room. The daughter explained to the nurse, Oh, my father visited me in his astral body and laid his hands on me and prayed with me. The nurse said, I don't believe in ghosts, apparitions, or voodoo. The girl realized that further explanation would be useless. Harry said that he was perfectly conscious all the time. Considering the distance between Calcutta and Honolulu and the time difference, he discovered that he had been absent from his physical body just 10 minutes in all. Harry is a medical doctor and has extreme faith in spiritual healing and is very familiar with the many schools of healing. He realized his presence gave a tremendous transfusion of faith, confidence, and courage to his daughter, which impregnated his subconscious mind. And according to his belief and that of his daughter, it was done unto her. The Bible says, If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. When involved in a court case, know that infinite intelligence guides and directs your attorney, the judge, and all concerned in the case. Realize that the divine law of harmony prevails and that you will experience justice and right action in the decision. A salesman who is suffering from abnormal jealousy and who annoys his wife by checking up on her 5 or 6 times a day on long distance telephone calls heals himself by frequent silent periods during the day when he is away from home. Making a habit of this mental picture, he succeeded in obliterating the jealous pattern in his subconscious based on his sense of insecurity and fear. Nightmares are usually due to a sense of guilt wherein you feel you should be punished. Let's see. They are based upon the fires of resentment, hostility, or suppressed rage. Your subconscious mind is amenable to control by your conscious mind. Therefore, all you have to do is forgive yourself as well as others and feed your subconscious mind prior to sleep with life giving patterns of love and harmony, and you will sleep in peace and wake in joy. So, typically, if you will do even a brief meditation, or if you will do a clearing, or if you will do, say, affirmations before you go to sleep, that also helps. Everyone dreams. Your dreams are a dramatization of your subconscious mind's contents, a sort of mental television program. Your dreams also aid you in realizing excess tensions and anxieties. Every night on retiring, fill your conscious mind with the truths of God, and you will crowd out your subconscious everything unlike God. When you are having trouble with an associate who is difficult and hostile, the first thing to do is quiet your mind periodically and affirm boldly, the free flowing love of God saturates my whole being. The free flowing love of God saturates my whole being. The spirit in me salutes the spirit in whoever, and there are love, peace, and understanding between us. Whenever you meet or speak to the other, silently affirm, I surround you with a circle of love and light. A girl who found herself out of her body frequently commanded her subconscious prior to sleep to find her father who deserted her mother when the daughter was 2 years old. Her subconscious obeyed her command of conviction, and she found herself projected in as an astral body into a hotel room in Australia. There she spoke to her father and asked him to return, telling him who she was. He looked upon her visit as an apparition, but subsequently realized that it was really his daughter. He eventually returned to a joyous reunion with his wife and daughter. You possess a subtle body now. Some call it the astral body, which is an exact duplicate of your present body, but it operates at a much higher frequency and can enter closed doors and collapse time and space. It is the same as your present body. The only difference is that your astral body oscillates at a higher psychic frequency. Many people become adept at traveling outside their body. They possess all their faculties and are able to see, hear, feel, and converse with others as well as describe what they see. They can even move ponderable objects. They can change their directions by commands to their subconscious mind, which obeys. A father living in India, on hearing his daughter's dangerous illness, quiets his mind and issues a psychic command to his subconscious to project him to his daughter's bedside in Honolulu. He places his hands upon her and prays, and she has a remarkable recovery. He is tangible and real and able to enter into the hospital and her room even through closed doors. So it looks like we are finished with chapter 12, and it looks like we have chapter 13. So I can, so I'm trying to get to the, okay, so chapter 13. I will start on tomorrow, or actually probably Monday. Yeah. Yeah. Chapter 13 is how to increase your wealth with psychic perception. Or maybe I'll read some now. To become aware of the law of plenty, all you have to do is to observe the prodigality or generosity of nature. You will be forced to come to the conclusion that nature is lavish, extravagant, and bountiful. Notice how, for example, when you put seeds into the ground, they come forth tenfold, a hundredfold, and a thousandfold. When you gaze at an acorn, you are looking at a potential forest. How a businessman realized there was unlimited wealth for him. Recently, when I was talking with a businessman in Hilo, which is on the west coast of the big island of Hawaii, he told me about a most interesting experience he had had, which helped him overcome his poverty complex. One day, when he was thinking about how he could pay the bills which had accumulated in his store, he noticed the rain coming down in torrents, and he said to himself, God's riches are flowing to me like the rain falls from the heavens. He kept this picture in his mind for about a half an hour. Suddenly, he had a strange feeling that the atmosphere all around him. Hmm, Suddenly, he had a strange feeling that the atmosphere all around him was filled with God's riches, spiritual, mental, and material, and a marvelous sense of peace came to him. From that day on, people in steadily increasing numbers came into his store, and his sales increased to such a proportion that he had to hire 2 extra sales ladies. What actually happened was that as he meditated on and pictured God's wealth flowing to him like rain, he conveyed this idea to his subconscious mind, which responded accordingly and brought it to pass in a wonderful way. He said to me that he has never worried about money since that day, as it is circulating freely in his experience. He has a card affixed to his desk which says, "I will rain bread from heaven for you." Exodus 16:4. Your invisible means of support. A young millionaire who frequently comes to my lectures said to me the other day that the trouble with most of the men associated with him is that they have no invisible means of support, and that they have no idea how to tap the treasure house of their subconscious where infinite riches are. Therefore, the law of plenty cannot operate in their lives. There is an inexhaustible reservoir within you in which everything has its origin and source. You can tap it and grow rich. All right, I'm going to stop here and I'll pick back up in chapter 13 at she based her success on service. All right, so that is where we're going to stop at today. I am so super excited for being here. Hey, Tiff, thank you for joining. Hey, Layla, thank you for joining. And no, yeah. All right. So thank you so much for joining. It's been an amazing time. I absolutely love reading on this book. I will come back and read some of chapter 13 on tomorrow, just because I want to finish it. And I love reading with you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, Tiff, and those of you that have joined. Those of you that catch the replay, thank you. And make sure that you hit hashtag replay and tell me where you are watching from, because I love to find out, where people are in the planet, because I think it's just the neatest thing that we can actually be wherever we are in the world and people can see us all over the planet. So that is amazing to me. But again, thank you for joining me. I hope that this has been helpful in your life. I hope that this book has really opened up things for you as it has for me. It's been something. So again, thank you for joining me. And join me and Sean, my dynamic dual partner, tonight. We're going to be coming on at 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern time, I think it is. So I'm super excited about that. We're going to be having a conversation. So come and join us as we share our truth. So it's me and my dynamic dual partner, Sean White, and we will be speaking our truth. So join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, we hope to do a lot of laughing because pretty much I'm going to do that anyway. So join us tonight. It's going to be on Facebook on the page. So join us. It's going to be so much fun. So again, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for joining me. And those of you that would like to work with me, reach out, send me a private message or comment below, and I will circle back and see how I can work with you. So again, thank you for joining me. Bye now.